Hi everybody and welcome back. As you go through your reading and your assignment this week, you will notice that non-Western art played a critical role in how we interpret and look at Western art. I can think of Japonisme as a prime example. The word Japonisme was coined in 1872 by the French author and collector Philip Berti. It was a term used to explore the refreshing and new ethnographic borrowings from the arts of Japan. And although we will focus heavily on France today, keep in mind that the impact of Japanese culture stretched far beyond Paris and the City of Lights into the Netherlands, Britain, and America. In 1640, Shogun Tokugawa banned foreign trade from Japan, and the island would remain in isolation from Western culture for over 200 years. In 1853, the United States, feeling anxious to reestablish a relationship with the East, sent over our great naval commander, Matthew Perry. His first visit was an offer of peace and mutual growth, but when Japan failed to agree to terms with the Western power, the U.S. sent Perry once more, this time armed with his infamous black naval ships. Armed and fiercely intimidating, they succeeded, and Japan would open trade with the West on March 31, 1854. Now you can imagine the impact this new trade and this new influence into Eastern culture and how that would affect the artists of the West. Artists were taken aback by ukiyo-e prints in particular. Ukiyo-e means the floating world. They were inexpensive prints that you would often find in tea houses that were used as wrapping paper, and they showed daily life and leisure scenes. Oftentimes you would see the four seasons, and they might strike you as extremely flat. You'll see genuine movement and gestures, and the clever use of lines and patterns. Color was also used as a tool, and you would often see odd angles and perspective. Here, in Hiroshige's Sudden Shower of 1857, you see a lot of that of what we are talking about. And Vincent van Gogh was so moved by this image that he would copy it in 1887. The bridge plays a critical role in how we look at images of the East, and Whistler was also taken aback in 1872, creating this image here, Nocturne Blue and Gold. You'll notice the different angle, and you might also even notice the single firework in the background, very reminiscent of Hiroshige's firework at Ryogoku in 1854. Claude Monet in 1899 would create this image of a beautiful bridge, and is very reminiscent of a similar painting by Hokusai of 1863. But perhaps the one Western artist who was mostly influenced by the East was Vincent van Gogh. Him and his brother Theo would establish a large collection of ukiyo-e prints and oftentimes incorporate them into their paintings. We see that in particular in this portrait of Pierre Tanguay. And as we go around the image, you'll notice the specific ukiyo-e prints that Vincent van Gogh employed. Gustav Klimt was also influenced by the East. Klimt was born in Austria on July 14, 1862, and he was extremely invested in Japanese design. He owned a fine collection of Japanese kimonos and decorated his studio with hanging scrolls. Klimt always wore a kimono-like garment, and a suit of samurai armor stood in his living room. Notice his figures usually stand or sit and are contrasted by ornate, luxurious dresses. So the next time you go into a museum or you look at a catalog or magazine, try to see what influences might have influenced that artist. An image such as Mary Cassatt's The Boating Party of 1893 might reveal an Eastern influence. So once again, thank you and have a wonderful week.